Hey everybody, my name is Justin and welcome to the Iron Matzah cooking show. I decided I want to get more in touch with my Judaism and more in touch with film editing, so I figured this was a perfect blend of the two. Why not a cooking show? What the premise here is, Passover is the Jewish holiday of freedom. It is when we reminisce on being freed through God's miracles out of the land of Egypt, and so we celebrate it with a week-long festival, and we also have a restricted diet at the time. We celebrate with a restricted diet. We're not allowed to eat bread stuff, so instead we have to eat matzah. Where some people might see restrictions, we see that as an opportunity for more creativity. Now, today I'm excited to announce the first annual Iron Matzah Seder Plate Cooking Challenge, where what we're going to do is we are going to use every ingredient in the Seder plate to make a singular dish that uses every single one of those ingredients. Again, Passover is the celebration of freedom, and the Seder is a particular feast we have during Passover where we relive the exodus out of Egypt, so to speak. And so because of that, one of the things for the feast is called the Seder plate, which is a plate with different things on it that are symbolic of the exodus out of Egypt. So to quickly explain what is on the Seder plate, I'm going to quickly take you all back to Hebrew school. Alright, welcome to Hebrew school, everyone. So these are the ingredients for a traditional Seder plate. If you think I'm a little off or something like that, I am Reformed, so you can only do so much. First, we got the lamb shank, ground lamb meat today. It represents the whole concept of Passover. It was the lamb that was slaughtered to put a marker over the Jewish doors so that when one of the plagues, which was the angel of death killing the firstborn of every Egyptian, they saw the mark on our door and were like, okay, well, we're gonna pass over your door. So there you go, the lamb. The boiled egg, that symbolizes rebirth. The egg is actually inside this horseradish, which I'll get to in a second. And quick disclaimer here, this is our first time doing this thing, so we're kind of using the raw ingredients. So technically we should be using a boiled egg, but instead we're just using something with egg in it. So the ingredients of the Seder plate are there, maybe not in the form they're supposed to be. This is our first year. We'll get better, I promise, but for the first year, the egg is incorporated into the bitter herb, which is next. That represents the bitterness of slavery and how there is still slavery today, which we must acknowledge. So the bitter herb, we got this horseradish sauce with the egg in it, so 2 for 1. That's pretty neat. Vegetable, representing growth. According to Jews, potatoes are a vegetable, so we're going to exploit that. Charoset, which represents the mortar of the bricks that we as slaves made. And so for Ashkenazi or European Jews, it is a mixture of apples and walnuts, which we occasionally do. Sephardic Jews, which are more Mediterranean, is more apricots, dates, and nuts as well. So depending on what background you have. Then we got matzah, got some matzah meal right there. Salt water, which I don't have right now, but we'll get there eventually. And then we also just have some wine because why not? And then this is my Yahoo account. I just keep it written there because otherwise I'd forget and then I'd never be able to get to my Flickr account. Today's meal is going to be a special lamb meatball, a lamb and charoset meatball over a horseradish whipped mashed potato with a little bit of a lamb sludgy sauce on top. It's going to be pretty tasty, and we're going to cram all these ingredients into it. This is a very complex dish, and it's going to be requiring a lot of blending and baking and simmering and stuff. So step 1, pour yourself a glass of wine. You're going to need it, and wine means joy anyway, so you might as well. Do that. I've seen a lot of cooking videos where pour a glass of wine is the first step, so if you thought that was funny, that's not my joke. It's on loan. Alright, charoset time. Like I said, I'm using 1.5 apples and a cup of walnuts. Again, you want to add more nuts than you usually would. If you put spices in your charoset, it's your recipe. I'd suggest not doing that. It's going in lamb meat and there's other stuff that's going in there, so we're gonna salt the meat and we're gonna put spices in the meat itself. So I would just straight up apples and walnuts and a little bit of wine. That's all you need to do. All right, time for the build. Make our lamb and charoset meatball. So, this is a Jewish cooking show. I am an American mutt though, so my mom is Jewish and my dad's family is Irish, Italian, Catholic. So even though this is a Jewish cooking show, when it comes to making meatballs, I'm gonna channel my Italian grandmother and say, I don't have exact measurements for how much you're supposed to put in here, all right? I don't know if it's like a pinch of this or what. It's just put it in until it feels good. You're gonna have to use the force on this one. Again, instead of breadcrumbs, we're using matzah meal. So this is how we incorporate the matzah into the recipe, just a little bit. Not too much again, Some of you might be thinking, well, Justin, why don't you put the egg in here then? If you're not gonna use a hard-boiled egg, couldn't you just use the egg like in most meatballs? This doesn't need egg because lamb is a proud meat. And so you don't need to put egg in here as a binding agent. This stuff is good enough. So again, this is lamb, this is matzah meal, this is charoset. I'll get more coming. So now we're gonna make these into meatballs, golf ball size, I'd say. And you're just gonna place them on the pan right here. You're gonna set a timer for 20 minutes. Drop this right in there. Now, about twice during these 20 minutes, you're gonna wanna pull it out and just turn it with a set of tongs. Just drop these suckers in. And if you do it right, by the time the meatballs are done, the potatoes will be ready to mash. So it's been 20 minutes. Let's take these puppies out. Getting that sizzle. You gotta take my word for it, but it smells like lamb right now. There we go. And this is the good stuff. I'm gonna make a little sauce out of that. So put these down, let them rest for like a couple minutes, and then we're gonna transfer them to a plate so we can make our quasi-lamb sludge gravy. So I strained the potatoes. Again, you didn't miss much. Gonna add a couple things. Before we add the horseradish, we're actually gonna put some margarine in there. It is not butter. I can believe that, so because of that, we can use it. So we're gonna use a little bit of margarine. I'm just gonna, again, I'm not gonna tell you how much to use. Just put a good amount in. Also, going to add another side Seder plate thing of olive. Add some olive oil. If you cooked it in a frying pan, which hopefully you did, you have some of this goodness still left there. So we're gonna make a very basic kind of lamb sludgy sauce to go with it. So put it on low heat, and it's on. I'm gonna just add a little bit of wine, kind of deglaze, as they so say. This is the bitter herbs, which represents bitterness of slavery and how there is still slavery in the world today. There's also egg in here. I'm just gonna drop. Be careful with this. When we tested this out, we tasted it and we were like, oh, this isn't that hot. And so we put a bunch in here and then we made these really hot potatoes. They were just aggressively hot. They weren't even tasty. So you can always add more horseradish. But boiling another potato is just really boring. So I'm gonna add a bit of pepper too. Again, until you can smell it. That's mashed potatoes. It needs all the flavor it can get. Now what I'm gonna add is, so we got wine in there. I'm gonna add a little bit of chicken broth too. This is broth, right? Stock broth. It's broth.
It's broth.
Okay, good. A little bit of chicken broth. And then, because we have it, add a little bit of margarine too. Let it simmer for a while. Plating! My hands are kind of clean, so I'll just do that. I'm gonna put a couple meatballs on there. And then, ooh, there's a film on that sauce. That's nice. I don't think we got that last time. You want it to cascade if you can. Oh yeah, there we are. There we are. All right. Just rip up some parsley. And it looks fancy when you put it on, so nice little bit of parsley right there. All right, swirl it around the plate. And there you go. This is the Seder Plate Challenge. Iron Matzah Year 1 Seder Plate Challenge, where we use every single element of a Seder plate in a meal. Again, we have the lamb meat, we have the charoset. Is that better, Connor?
Yes.
We have the charoset in it, we have matzah meal in there, we got the parsley, we used salt water to boil the potatoes, we got the potatoes as the vegetable, we got horseradish, the bitter herbs that whip the potatoes with the egg in the horseradish sauce. We have every single ingredient in this plate. And now is the part where we take a bite out of it. Let's see here. First, let's cut into that meatball. Look at that. Cooked all the way through. I'm not sure if lamb's supposed to be pink. I don't think it is, so maybe did it right. Get that there. Even have a little bit of parsley. All right. It tastes like Passover. There's really no other way to say it. It tastes like Passover, man. The lamb meat's really good, but it still has that sweetness of the charoset. And mashed potatoes are nice and creamy, but they have a little bite from the horseradish. The sauce is nice too. Nice lamb sludgy sauce. The parsley is parsley. I'm not a fan of parsley, but others are, so good for them. So yeah, that's pretty good. Once again, year 1 Seder Plate Challenge. I hope that you learned something today. I know I did. And until next time, guys, happy Passover, stay creative, and peace on earth. I don't know what else to say.